Hey everyone, Dr. Michael Breus, the sleep doctor here. One of the things that I get asked all the time is how do you get a great night's sleep or high quality sleep on the road? Let's be honest, I'm on the road probably anywhere from 5 to 7, 8, 10 nights a month. And so getting high quality sleep while on the road is definitely something that's important to me. So right now, we're gonna discuss all the different ways to improve your sleep quality while traveling. So one of my favorite secret weapons, my sleep kit. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been on many airlines international flights and they give you a whole bunch of kits. These kits really don't have exactly what you need. What I've done is I've taken each of the pieces that I think is the most valuable and created my own sleep kit. I wanna show it to you and I want you to create one as well. Let me tell you what's inside. So number one, a lot of people like to watch television or read before they go to bed, kind of relax in this new environment. My favorite thing here, blue light blocking glasses. The reason these are so good is because they actually block a particular wavelength of light that prevents the production of melatonin. Remember guys, melatonin is kind of that key that starts the engine for sleep. We gotta have that going and it needs to be going for a good half an hour to 45 minutes before we go to bed. So do yourself a favor, put on these glasses. I think I kind of look like a rock star like Bono or Elvis Costello maybe Nick Cage, who knows. But these are super valuable and I love them. Number two, my Breus earbuds. Now, what's interesting about these is these were designed to be worn while sleeping and they can give you meditation, relaxation, music. They have a whole library of stuff for you. So if that's something that you're interested in, it works out really well. Now, you're probably wondering about the aromatherapy. You never know if there's a little bit of mold or mildew or something like that in a room. But more importantly, I use aromatherapy, a pillow spray on my pillow at night at home. And then I use one here, and guess what ends up happening? My memory gets more relaxed because it remembers the common smell. So this is a great trick for you to be able to relax and lower your anxiety without actually having to do a whole heck of a lot. The other thing that I like to do is the nightlight. Now people are like, what are you doing with the nightlight? Well, if you're a guy of a particular age or anybody that likes to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, the last thing you really want to do is throw open the light because guess what? Light comes on, melatonin turns off. Then it's really difficult to get back to bed. Nice strategically placed nightlight into the restroom. I can get up, go do what I need to do without turning on a light, come back, I'm in good shape. The other piece of the puzzle, as I've saved for last, my favorite is the chip clip. Now you're probably wondering, what on earth am I gonna clip my eyeballs shut? No. Follow me. In many cases, there is a window specifically near the bed. But look what happens when you bring the blackout curtains together. There's this slit of light, and no matter how much you kind of try to do it, it never seems to work. However, my wife, as brilliant as she is, figured this one out. She took a chip clip, and then you just do that. And guess what? You have darkness, you can sleep for a while, everything is spectacular. Now I'm gonna show you my final big piece of equipment that I personally love quite a bit and it works really, really well, and that is my sleep mask. So this is a pretty ingenious item. This is made by a company called Manta, and what I love about it is they have these eye cups, and you can actually change the size and where they're displaced so that way it'll fit perfectly across your eyes, block out every bit of light, and it works really, really well. Now let's say you didn't want to go and get those earphones with the music in them. This company now makes an overlay which has a Bluetooth in it, and when you just add it on like that, there are speakers on the sides here, so I can actually listen to music while I'm falling asleep and it automatically turns off for me. This is one of my go-tos, and I also can use this on an airplane as well. Now that you know what to put in your sleep kit, I want to give you a few little hacks and tips about the room, the bed, the pillow, the alarm clock, and even your neck. Let's start with the room. So what I always do is when I call ahead of time, I ask, can I have a corner room? This eliminates one of my neighbors, which means eliminates one possible noise source. I also ask them to put my room on the highest floor so I can be away from street noise. And if at all possible, I want a westward facing room. Remember, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and if you're showing up someplace at 1 o'clock in the morning, the last thing you want is a beam of light hitting you between the eyes. So a westward facing room can be a true lifesaver. Now we're gonna go down to the bed. What kind of bed do you want? Now, a lot of people, they jump in and they say, hey, I want a king size bed. I'm not so sure that's the right idea here. Especially if you're traveling by yourself. Number one, you don't need that much space, but number two, the middle sinks more in a king-size bed than it does in almost any other one. Also, hotels have a tendency not to switch their products as quickly as we might want them to, so you could end up with a sagging mattress. Personally, I like to get 2 fulls or a queen because that gives me enough surface area. I'm not that big of a guy, and I can always be assured that the bed isn't gonna do one of these, which is gonna do a number on my back. The third thing that I like to do is look for pillows. I am kind of a pillow hog. I actually use 4. I'm kind of like MacGyver. So what I do is I put a pillow between my legs, I have a pillow under my head, I have a pillow under my arm, and I have a pillow sometimes on top of my head. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that's kind of how I like to sleep. So the first thing I'm doing is looking for extra pillows, looking for extra blankets in case I can't get warm, something like that to be able to set things up exactly the way I want. Finally, or actually not finally, one more step is the alarm clock. This I do almost every time I walk right into the room is I go over here and I really want to figure out, has some crazy person set this alarm for an early flight, like 4:30 in the morning or something like that? The good news is this one says the alarm is off, so I don't have to worry about that, but it's always something to try to never forget. The final thing that we're going to talk about is your neck. So a lot of times you've had a long plane flight, maybe it's a cab ride, and your neck is kind of starting to hurt. You want a little bit more support, but the pillows that the hotel is giving you are oftentimes overstuffed, which means they last longer, but they don't really give you support because they push your head down far. So we need something, a little bolster for your neck. So I'm gonna show you my favorite hack. Here's what I do is I take these medium-sized hand towels, and oftentimes I'll take 2 of them, and I'll lay them flat out here on the bed, like so. Then I roll it long ways, so I get a nice thick roll here. Then I will pull out the pillow, and I will put this along the horizon of the pillow. And what you can see here is this nice little hump, and it gives you extra support while you sleep. It's a super easy travel hack, one of my all-time favorites, and it really works. One concern you might have while traveling are bed bugs. To be fair, this is something that seems to have gotten a little bit more popular fairly recently, and there's a few things you want to think about. Number one, bed bugs love certain environments. They like it where it's warm, they like it where it's moist and things like that. So if you're in New Orleans or you're in South Florida and it's super humid, there's an idea here that they could be drawn to or attracted by this type of environment. So number one, wherever you are, you may want to think about asking the hotel, hey, have you had any problems with bed bugs based on the weather and the environment? Number two is whenever I go into a room where I have a suspicion, and to be fair, I don't do this often, I check out the corners of the bed. It turns out that that's where the bed bugs seem to like to be because it's kind of squunched in and it can be kind of warm and be soft and things like that. So oftentimes what you can do is you just pull open the corner here and you keep going, and then you feel around here. A lot of times you can see a little bit of residue. Also check through the sheets and make sure that you don't have anything going on here that could represent a bed bug. Good news is we got no bed bugs here. Okay, we've learned a lot in our discussion today about sleep and travel, but one area that we didn't really look at much is jet lag. It turns out no matter which way you're traveling, even if you're not traveling through time zones, you can still experience a little bit of circadian disruption, or that internal biological rhythm can get thrown off. I've got an entire video that will give you everything you need to know about jet lag. Also, even if you're not traveling time zones, I recommend that you check it out because number one, you might in the future, but number two, there are some tips and tricks in there that can be very helpful. This is Dr. Michael Breus, the Sleep Doctor, wishing you sweet travels and sweet dreams.